Hello guys and welcome to Football Fandom UK. How are you guys doing? Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. For Spurs fans, it's not great today, is it? Obviously waking up after the result yesterday. Not the best result for you guys. That's what we're here to talk about today, guys, is Tottenham. If you're new to the channel, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like, share and subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, thank you very much for watching. So yeah, guys, we're here to talk about Spurs. What is going on with Tottenham? Some shocking results in the last few weeks. Overall, Spurs have been pretty fantastic over the last year or two. Up there challenging. Unfortunately, they've not managed to get something over the line and get a trophy. But we have to take our hat off to them because they have been up there challenging. But at the moment, it seems to all be going wrong. And the question's got to be asked, guys. Is it the manager? Is it the owner? Is it the players? What's going on? Quick look over the results that have obviously been coming in for Tottenham over the course of the start of the season. They started off pretty well with a win against Aston Villa and then a draw away to Manchester City, which obviously would suggest that they were up for it at the start. But then that's when the wobble came. The next game they played Newcastle and lost to Newcastle 1-0 at home. And no disrespect to Newcastle, fantastic result for them, obviously, but you always expect your team to win your home games or at least get something out of it. And obviously with Tottenham being so strong in the last couple of seasons, nobody predicted that Newcastle would get anything from the game, never mind a win. So yeah, then they got back to some sort of normality after that game, getting a 2-2 draw against Arsenal in the derby, which obviously was a good result because that was an away game. Then a 4-0 win against Crystal Palace. And then that's when yet again it started to go wrong. Olympiacos 2-2 from a winning position. Obviously, it's an away game. And under normal circumstances, guys, I would say that was a positive result, 2-2. But they was in a winning position. They were 2-0 up in that game. So that's why it's arguably not a great result. Because obviously, if you get 2-0 up in a game, you want to see your team, stick it out and get the 3 points. And obviously with Tottenham doing so well, getting to the Champions League final last season, you would have thought that Tottenham would have had enough to get that result done and dusted and get the win. But unfortunately they didn't. Olympiacos, to be fair to them, came back into it and they got the equaliser towards the end of the game and levelled it and made it 2-2. And then Tottenham came back, obviously, to the UK, lost to Leicester, and then lost on penalties to Colchester, which was a big shock because they should be having plenty of squad depth to get a result against Colchester. No disrespect to Colchester, fantastic result for them. But then again, like I say, they got a win against Southampton after that, which wasn't the most convincing, but still, it's about getting the job done, 2-1. And then, obviously, it's really gone downhill from that point because they're 7-2 defeat to Bayern Munich at home. Now, what I've got to say about that game, guys, is obviously it's not a surprise for Bayern Munich to beat Tottenham in a game, whether it's home or away, because we all know that Bayern Munich are a European giant. But it's the manner of the defeat. Tottenham were well in that game in the first half. I would have said, even though if I remember rightly, I think it finished 2-1 at the end of the first half to Bayern, I think. But don't quote me on that, guys. But that's still, a scoreline that can be turned around. And Tottenham, I watched quite a bit of that game, and Tottenham were well in it. They were in it in the first half. But for some reason, in the second half, it all went wrong. I walked away because it was half time. Came off to do something. When I came back, I'd missed the first 10 minutes, and I think it was 5-2, 5-1 or something. I was like, what's gone on here? I'd only missed 10-15 minutes of the second half, and it was turned on its head. And then obviously Tottenham managed to get back into it, I think, with a penalty, if I remember rightly. And then obviously Bayern went and killed them off with another 2 goals. So that was a pretty shocking result around Europe. I think most people around Europe were shocked with that result because, like I say, nobody's surprised to see Bayern Munich beat any team, but it's the way you get beat. And obviously, for Tottenham fans, you know, you guys give your loyal support, and that was a bit of an embarrassing result, if we be frank. And then we come to the weekend, and you're thinking Tottenham are going to be up for this one. They're going to give you a reaction. I thought it. I definitely thought there would be a reaction over the weekend against Brighton, but there was nothing. Now, obviously, the goalkeeper went off injured, so that had an impact on the game. But overall, guys, it was, there was nothing from Tottenham. Absolutely nothing. No fight, no, they just didn't seem in the game. You know when a team's up for the fight because, it'll be a scrappy game, maybe a 1-0 or a 1-1. If both teams are up for it, guys. If both teams are up for it, you're going to get a tight scoreline. But 3-0 does not suggest that Tottenham were up for that game. And like I say, we know the keeper got took off. And obviously, hopefully he'll make a fast recovery. But still, 3-0, there was no reaction. No reaction. So I would love to know what you guys are thinking, especially the Tottenham fans. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking. Do you think that this is the owner's fault? Do you think it's the players not playing for the badge, not giving enough? Do you think it's the coach? What's going on? I know there's been a lot of talk over the summer about players wanting to leave and move on, but I don't get that because Tottenham got to a Champions League final last season, and we saw the season before that Liverpool got to a Champions League final, and their players didn't decide, oh, I want to leave. Their players decided, oh, we've had a taste of a cup final now. A big cup final, the biggest of them all. And we want to have another go at it. We want to try and get it done this time. And they did. They went off and they got it done this last season. And that was a positive response from the Liverpool squad and the Liverpool coach and everybody connected with the club. So, the example, the reason I'm bringing that up, guys, is because there's the example. That if a team can get to that, you're a step away. So you're expecting that Tottenham this season might be up for it and think in a similar way to Liverpool, like, oh, we've shown we can get there. Now we're one step away from getting it over the line. Let's have another go this season, either get to the Champions League final or give a good account of ourselves in the title race. But no, it looks like there's disharmony in the dressing room. Players not happy to be there. Coach doesn't look happy. Some of his press conferences have been prickly, shall we say. And obviously, Daniel Levy makes very little press statements. So we don't know what he's thinking. So what's going on? I think that this is what's wrong with football clubs. When we see this sort of thing going out, there should be more than just the coach coming out and speaking to fans. There should be other people within the club coming out and speaking to fans. We know that players do the occasional interview, but with players, they're what? What's the word I'm looking for, guys? They're press trained, if you like. They know how to speak to the press. They're taught how to speak to the press. So we know what we're going to get from players when they come and talk to the press. It's going to be very structured, and their responses are going to be very politically correct, shall we say. So getting stuff out of players, unless it's a player that has feeling for the club, real deep feeling for the club, you're not really going to get much out of a player. They're going to keep it all under wraps because they're trained to talk to the press, a lot of these players these days. So you expect that somebody else in the club, like Daniel Levy, will come out and say something to the fans, reassure the fans that this is just a bit of a wobble, that there's no disharmony in the dressing room, there's just been, a few changes or something since, moving into the new stadium. Something to give the fans hope that this is just a blip. But there's nothing. There's nothing coming out of the club apart from press conferences from Pochettino. And like I say, at the minute, Pochettino doesn't look happy when he's doing these press conferences. He doesn't look like he's comfortable, doesn't look like he wants to be there. I'm not saying he don't want to be at the club. I mean, he don't want to be in the press conferences. And like I say, he's been very prickly with some of the questions that have been asked in these press conferences, giving some really prickly answers. So yeah, guys, it's shocking what's going on with Tottenham. I never expected that they would start the season in such a dip, shall we say. We all know that teams can have a bit of a poor start to the season. We've seen it many a times, especially even the big clubs can have a little bit of a wobble. Man City have already had a little wobble, getting a defeat off Norwich. So it shows that any club can have a wobble for 1 or 2 games. But this has been going on for a few games now, guys. So I think that the Tottenham fans have right to ask questions, have right to get some answers from the club, because the writing's on the wall, isn't it? That there's something not right at Tottenham. There is something going on behind the scenes, and they are not being honest with the fans and just coming out saying it. Because as fans, I would be refreshed if a club actually came out and said, this is this is that, and we're going to sort it out. Because that would be refreshing. You would respect them. You would accept maybe some dips in form and poor results if the club was being honest with you as fans. But we see it all the time that they just come out with the political correctness, brush it off like it's nothing. And it's not nothing. When you're paying good money to go and support your team and show it 100% loyalty, it is not nothing. They should not be brushing it off. So guys, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. With regards to these results, got the international break coming up, and then obviously Tottenham come back, and they've got a perfect game really to come back to against Watford to obviously get things back on track. But then they've got, after that, they got a UEFA Champions League game against Zadvog. I can't even pronounce that name, guys. But obviously Champions League game, and that's at home. So potentially Tottenham could get that result wrapped up and done with, but then a tricky tie in the next Premier League game away to Liverpool. So basically Tottenham have got 2 games after the international break to get things back on track before they face Liverpool. And if they don't do that, they could face a mauling by Liverpool, because Liverpool, no disrespect to Tottenham, but Liverpool look like they're up for it this season. They look like they're really determined to grind out results no matter what, to get the points on the board and try and have a real shot at the title. So it's going to be a very interesting game to watch that, to see how Tottenham approach it. But obviously 2 games to go before that, guys. So let's see what comes about with that. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you are a Tottenham fan, please leave your comments below. Let me know what you're thinking, because this channel is for you guys. It's all about fans. So I want you guys to interact with the channel and leave comments. That would be very much appreciated. But obviously, hopefully for you guys, results will improve. But for now, it looks like there is a crisis at Tottenham. So let me know what you're thinking, guys. Be very much appreciated for your interaction. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care for now. Bye.